Okay, so let's start. See here, uh, we have to start from compound stress and strain. So, compound stress and strain. What does it mean? See, it's like suppose you have any point, or you can say any surface. So, on this surface, in this direction, suppose shear stress is acting, and suppose perpendicular to that normal stress is acting. So in that case we'll be having resultant stress. So resultant stress you can calculate by using parallelogram method like this. So this you can say as it is nothing but under root sigma square plus tau square. It is the easiest one. And now we'll see that suppose you have any body which is loaded with several types of stresses, then how are we going to find out the resultant stress on any plane? What does it mean? Suppose you have this kind of object, and on this object, suppose in this direction directly stress value is acting sigma x, and in this direction sigma y, and in this direction sigma z, sigma y, and in this direction sigma x. You can see from the diagram that all these stresses are actually tensile in nature. All these stresses are tensile in nature means your sigma x and sigma x has tendency to pull the bar. In same way sigma y and sigma y is also having tendency to pull the bar. So length will increase in both the cases. So they both are tensile in nature. And already I have told you that whenever you have tensile stress you will take positive, and for compressive stress you will take negative. Now our job is suppose I am giving you any inclined plane like this. So if this inclined plane is at particular angle, for example this angle, if I am saying this angle is 20 degree, then on this angle I have to find out perpendicular stress and tangential stress on this plane, on the black color plane. So how can we find out that? So for this kind of situation we have direct formula. There is one thing that is direct formula, okay, but the other thing is Mohr circle. One thing we say analytical approach, and one thing we say graphical approach. So Mohr circle is very easy to understand this kind of questions. So first I will explain the Mohr circle about this kind of situation, because if you are clear with the Mohr circle, then it's like it is the main thing. You will not do any mistake if you are clear with the Mohr circle. So in Mohr circle itself I will teach you how to find out normal force, how to find out shear force on this plane, what is called principal plane, what is called plane where shear stress is maximum. Like those things we will discuss first based on Mohr circle. And once Mohr circle is clear, then you will be very comfortable with the formulas also. So to explain the Mohr circle I need any example. So with the help of any random example I will try to explain the Mohr circle. Okay. See what is Mohr circle. Suppose imagine any member here. Now on this member, imagine here any 60 Pascal stress is acting. So in this direction also 60 Pascal stress will be acting. And now imagine in this direction some 10 Pascal stress is acting, and in this direction some 10 Pascal stress is acting. Also consider shear stresses are also acting. So in this direction any shear stress is acting. So imagine the shear stress value I am giving as some 40 Pascal. So you know, if one shear stress is given, then other shear stress you can draw easily. What is the trick here? Actually this is the head of the shear stress, so next head will come near to this. This is the tail of the shear stress, so tail will come to like that. And now here you got tail and here you got head, so like this. Always tail and tail will be one side, head and head will be one side. And now see, maybe because I have taken my first shear stress downward, so that's why it looks like this. Maybe in some other example, this shear stress they may give like this. Just wait, they may give like this. So in that case, your all the shear stresses will convert like this. Okay, so currently I'll be taking my first assumption. Now see, in the first assumption, we are going to discuss how to draw Mohr circle and what are the uses of Mohr circle. So first thing, keep in mind, Mohr circle is easiest method. How it is easiest? See, to draw Mohr circle, first you give name of every plane. So you give name like A, B, C and D. Okay, then you draw your x-axis, y-axis. Now you see, I am saying, sorry, x-axis, y-axis. Now you see, I am saying that this is x-axis and this is y-axis, but when we draw Mohr circle, this x-axis is no more x-axis. Then we call this as normal shear, normal stress, and the vertical one we call as shear stress. So actually Mohr circle will draw between normal stress and shear stress. Okay, you have certain rules for the Mohr circle. Your first rule is, whatever stress you are acting, so in that case, if your stress is tensile, then on the Mohr circle it is going to be positive. If compressive, then it is going to be negative. Second one, what about shear? So shear means, if the shear is acting like this, then this shear will be having tendency to rotate the block clockwise. So this kind of rotation we will take positive. I mean, this value of shear stress we will consider positive. But if on the same plane this kind of shear stress is acting, so it will be having tendency to rotate like this, anti-clockwise, so negative. So currently in our and next third thing I will write here, your plane will become a point. So for example, if you have plane AB, so this plane AB in real life, you can see this is the plane AB. So when I will draw that plane AB in the Mohr circle, then it will be a point. So your plane will convert into point. And fourth, very important point, your angle will get double. Whatever angle, suppose angle between plane AB and BC is 90 degree, then in Mohr circle it will look 180 degree. And the fifth important point is, in this Mohr circle, if from plane AB, if this angle is given as 30 degree, which you can see right now it is clockwise, so in Mohr circle also same clockwise angle will come, but it will come at 60 degree. So it means, if in the diagram it is given as clockwise, then in Mohr circle also you should take clockwise. So with the help of these 5 assumptions of Mohr circle, we can draw Mohr circle. So your first approach, what is your first approach? First approach is, you have total 4 planes, A, B, C, D. So you should know the coordinate of every plane, because plane we are going to convert as a point. So how will you understand the coordinate of every plane? So see, when you have x-axis, y-axis, then whatever values are here, that we keep first and then put comma, then whatever values are here, that is y coordinate, we keep here. In same way, when you are putting any coordinate for any plane, then first you will put sigma values because it is lying on x-axis, and then you will put tau values. Okay, now in case of sigma value, answer will come positive or negative, it depends on the tensile and compressive. In case of tau, answer will come positive or negative, depends on clockwise angle or negative clockwise, I mean clockwise shear or anti-clockwise shear. Means, I will erase this. See, let's draw this thing. Okay, now suppose it's better if this 60 you keep 80 and this 10 you keep 40. Okay, now you see, so first we have to find out the coordinate of plane AB. So suppose you check the values. First you check the sigma value. So sigma value is 80, and then you check tau value. So tau value is 40 or minus 40, 40, because that tau is taking the block like this clockwise. So tau value is 40. So you will be having a coordinate at how much distance? 80. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And keep in mind, you don't have to draw with scale, simply random, like some you can take some distance and you can draw. So suppose this is the length 80, and then on the plane 80 plane you have one more stress, that is shear stress, that is clockwise 40. So you will go 40 up because tau is positive for that plane. So you will see that, okay, here you are getting a coordinate. On this coordinate you have 80 and 40. This coordinate is nothing but plane AB. Actually this is the point right now, that is the point. Now in same way we have to show the next point. Next point is also very easy. You have BC. Okay, you have another plane. You see AB here, BC here, AD here, and CD here. Now which plane we should take to draw Mohr circle? So we should take another plane which is adjacent to the plane AB. So you can choose either this plane or you can choose this plane. Any one plane we can choose. Only difference will be, if you are choosing this, then you have to go clockwise 180 degree because that angle is 90 degree. So if you go like this, then you have to go anti-clockwise, but angle 90 degree. So first plane if you are choosing, because only two planes are required to draw the Mohr circle, only two planes. So you have to draw now plane AD. Now how will you draw plane AD? Very easy. You have two coordinates. You need your normal stress and you need your shear stress. Okay, so where is your normal stress? That is 40. And how much your shear stress? Shear stress on the every plane will be same, so it is 40. So 40 40. So 40 40 means you can consider somewhere 40 and 40. So you go like this and you go like this. So here you got like this. So now you see your one plane is here and your another plane is here. Now you check out, am I doing any mistake? Yes. What mistake I am doing? Can you guess? Anyone? One small mistake I am doing, and I have done that mistake intentionally so that I can catch. Yeah, very good. Shear stress is anti-clockwise. So it means what? Your 40 will not come here, your 40 will come here. That's what I was checking, whether you guys are sleeping or you are okay. Now what can we do? We can just join this. Just after joining this, you will cut the sigma axis, that will be your center. Okay, and this much is going to be your radius, this much is going to be your radius, and then by using this you can draw a circle like this. So this circle we call as Mohr circle. Okay, now first question comes, how will you find out see this much length? You already know, because that is nothing but the shear stress. You should write the name also, that name is AD, plane AD. Okay, now question is, plane AD how you have considered? Plane AB has been clockwise. So from here you have come 180 degree. That is also correct. Okay, now we have to find out the location of the center and radius. How to find out location of the center? So for that calculation is, you see, always remember this length and this length is going to be same, no doubt. Okay, next part, this total length is nothing but this stress, that is nothing but your 80. So this total length is 80, and just now you see this length is nothing but your 40 is 40. So if you subtract, if you want to find out this total length, that is nothing but 80 minus 40. So this total length is 40. Now half of that will be 20. So this center coordinate became 20. Center coordinate became 20. It means this length is 20, this length is 20. So center coordinate became 60 actually, because from here we have to measure, right? So till here it is 40, and after that 20 more. So you got center coordinate 60. So your center, your coordinate will be at 60, but shear stress 0. So 60 comma 0. 60 comma 0 became your center coordinate. Now next thing, what about your radius? Can we find out radius? Easily we can find out radius. How? this length is nothing but shear stress, this is nothing but shear stress. That shear stress value is given as 40. And after that, what about this length? Just now we have got 20. So 40 and 20, you can apply Pythagoras, 40 square plus 20 square, and you can find out this length. Okay, suppose name of the center is O. So anyway, we got center location and radius of the circle. Once you got the radius of circle, then actually if center location is clear and radius is clear, then you understand your circle will be this side or circle will cut this side. Maybe we have done wrong circle, maybe our circle is cutting the axis and circle is exceeding that side. So how will you judge circle is left side or right side? It is very easy. You judge the location of center and radius. See, if you solve 40 square plus 20 square, definitely your value will be where? You check out 40 square means 1600 and 20 square means 400, and if you'll add them, you'll be getting 2000. And what is the square root of 2000? If you take the square root of 2000, then you can check your this thing calculator. So see, this 2000, how will you guess what is the 2000? Radius is clear, center location is clear. I am saying to find out exact value of radius. So you calculate using your calculator and you find out the exact value of 2000, under 2000. So it's very easy, 44.72. Now you see, it means what? Your radius is only at 44.72. It means what? Your center is at 60, right? But from the center, when you are drawing the radius, it is only reaching till how much? 44.72. It means what? You did not cross, right? So you are only at 44.72. Okay, done. It means what? You have got a Mohr circle in which somewhere here you have this thing, and like this you have got your Mohr circle. In this you got one plane here and one plane here. This plane was AB, and after getting this you also got the radius. So that radius was 44.72, and till here your length was 60. So we can keep in mind. Now see, if Mohr circle is ready, after that you can find out 3-4 very important things. So first thing, in the member I took one inclined plane, and this is A, B, C, D. So this plane is AB and this plane is AD. Okay, I am saying that I took a plane, that plane was at 20 degree. Now see, from which plane I have taken 20 degree? From plane AD. Okay, it means what? From plane AD you have to go 20 degree this side, 40 degree this side, or 40 degree this side. There are two possibilities. So rule says, from the AD plane, from this AD plane, your inclined plane is like this. It means what? Anti-clockwise. So on Mohr circle also you go anti-clockwise. Exactly same fashion you follow. 40 degree. Okay, after going to 40 degree you will reach somewhere. So suppose, just an example, you are not sure where will you reach. So for that purpose you can do one thing. I mean, you will reach here, you will reach here, you will reach here, you will reach here. Where will you reach? So to check that, very easy concept is, you just complete your right angle triangle here and you already know how much this angle is. You can easily find out this angle. How can you find out this angle? So for that, just now you know that this was 20, and you also know that this was shear length, it was 40. So with the help of 20 and 40 you can find out this triangle. So you can apply, suppose this is a known angle, so that you can find out by perpendicular by base. So you can apply tan inverse 40 by 20, it means tan inverse 2. So using calculator, what is the value of tan inverse 2? Tell me in degree. Okay, so this angle is coming 63.43. So this angle is 63.43. It means you are very close to 90 because 90 is just here, right? Now in this 63.43, you have to go how much? 40 degree this side. So of course you will cross the 90 and you will go somewhere here, right? So from here, I mean from the plane AD, I will erase few things. Okay, so from the plane AD, you have to go such that you should complete 40 degree travel. So it is already at 63, so 40 when you will travel, you will exceed, definitely you will exceed this 90 degree and you will be here. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. So this will be your plane which I have drawn here. So suppose this plane is AP, so give the name AP. Now you see, this plane will be having coordinate, correct? That coordinate will again be sigma and tau. So that's all. The sigma value, how will you find out? Sigma value is nothing but you draw one line here. So this total value is your sigma value. So in that sigma value, already you know this much is your center location, that is 60. Only this much you have to add to find out sigma. How can you find out this length? Easily you can find out that length, but how? How can you find out? See, you know, if I'll say this as O, so you know OP, OAP, I mean, I'm trying to say this line. This line is nothing but the radius. This is also radius. This is also radius. So that line is radius. So radius length we already know 44 point something. Okay. And can we find out this angle? Of course we can find out that angle. How can you find out that angle? This is 63.43 and this is 40. So subtract both from 180, you will be getting this angle. Give me that angle. Give me. No, both you have to subtract. This angle also you have to subtract and this angle also you have to subtract. I mean you have to subtract 103.43. From 180. 76. Okay. But do you understand why I am finding out that angle? Because I am interested, because I can find out this length only in this triangle, right? So in that triangle I want to find out this angle. So that's why this total angle is 180. This angle is known, this angle is known. So subtract from 180 and you will be getting that angle. Okay, done. How much you have told me? 40? 76, approximately 76 degree. Okay, you got 76 degree. Okay, so now see, by using this 76 degree, you can find out this length. Easily you can find out that length. How can you find out that length? You know the length of hypotenuse, that is nothing but your radius, and you know sine angle. So this is nothing but cos coefficient, right? I mean radius with cos 76 will give you this length. Now add 60 in that. So from the origin you got 60 and plus this distance, so that will be the total coordinate of the normal force, so normal stress. So whatever answer will come, that will be your normal stress on this point. Now that normal stress will be tensile or compressive, so it will be tensile. Why? Because it is in the positive direction. If you are getting the circle in this direction, then negative, because that is that time compressive. Now next, how will you find out shear stress? So finding shear stress is extremely easy. How can you say extremely easy? Because shear stress is nothing but this height. So already radius is known, already this angle is known, so you apply the sine component, you will be getting this height. That's all. It means what? Whatever is the radius, you multiply with sine this angle, whatever we have got here. So we got our shear. Done. So you got sigma and you got shear. Now some symbols I will give. Symbols means whenever your body is loaded with sigma x, sigma y, sigma x, sigma y, and after that suppose tau xy, and suppose, so everywhere it will be tau xy, all the four. So actually this is known as state of stress in 2D. So currently the loadings and together we are saying state of stress in 2D. Now you see, when this member is loaded, then on every face, suppose face name we can give as A, B, C, D, then on every face, like on face AB, on face BC, on face CD, on face DA, we have stress acting. But if I am giving you any inclined plane like this, which is at any angle theta, then on this inclined plane we can find out our normal stress, symbol will be sigma n, and I can find out my shear stress. That shear stress will be tau theta, or sometimes in some textbook it will be written as sigma t, t for tangential, and this is normal sigma n. So it's tau theta and sigma t. Sometimes they will simply write tau. So now see, how will you find out these two values? Okay, just now in the previous question you saw that your tau value will be negative. Why it will be negative? Because you are coming on the negative axis. Like you can see, this coordinate is negative coordinate for tau. So if the tau is negative coordinate, it means what? On this plane, in which direction tau is? It means on this plane, in which direction your tau is. So actually this is the plane on which you are finding out the shear stress. So question is, how will you put the arrow? You'll put the arrow like this, or you'll put the arrow like this. Which arrow will be comfortable? So for that, what will you do? You check your main answer which is coming from the Mohr circle is positive or negative. If that is negative, then it should be anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise means it should be like this. Then it will take like this. Oh, so it became clockwise. So take like this. So it will turn the entire thing like this. So it became anti-clockwise. So whatever answer will come, that will be your tau theta. So answer you can find out from Mohr circle. Now see, in the same plane, see, when you are here, when you are here, when you are here, when you are here, you have so many planes. You have so many planes. So in all these so many planes, you will be having one very important plane, and that important plane we call as principal plane. What is principal plane? Actually, you see, in all these planes, whatever I have taken here, here, on any plane, suppose this plane is at theta 1 angle, this plane is at theta 2 angle, this plane is at theta 3 angle. So on every plane, you will be finding out normal stress and shear stress, normal stress and shear stress. So there will be one special plane. On that plane, your shear stress term will be 0. Only normal stress term will act. So shear stress term became 0 and only normal stress term is acting. It means what? This plane is known as principal plane. So on the principal plane, which stress is 0? Shear stress is 0. On the principal plane, which stress is acting? Normal stress. So should we call them normal stress? No, we call them principal stresses. So actually principal stresses are nothing but the normal stress which is acting on any plane. But what is the beauty of that plane? Shear stress will not be there. 0 shear stress. So that is the meaning of principal plane. So how will you find out principal plane? How will you find out principal plane? Now see, just in my diagram, in my just question what I took, we have taken Mohr circle like this, right? In this Mohr circle, we know that here we have our AB and here we have our AD. So we connected like this. Now see, let's understand in this entire diagram where is our principal plane and what is the value of principal stress. So you know that whenever you talk about principal, your shear stress will be 0, okay? And shear stress is 0 actually only on sigma axis. It means here, everywhere your shear stress is 0. It means what? This point and this point is actually representing principal plane, because plane will always come on the circumference. Plane will not come here, okay? So you can give the name as suppose this is your P major. It means principal is plane major, or you can say PP major, principal plane major, or you can say this one you will say PP minor. It means principal plane minor. So you can see on this point you have only sigma value, you don't have tau value because that is lying on sigma axis. So that's why we say on principal axis and on principal plane tau will be 0. So which stress will be there? Only normal stress will be there. And what is the name of that? Principal stress. Not only this stress, same here also. Only thing is this will be the maximum stress in the member. You can see beyond this circle is not going. At the same time, this will be the minimum stress. Below this stress is not going, because after this curve is shifting like this, right? So this is about the principal stress strain. Now in our previous question, if we have to find out, like in this question, not here, yeah, this question I took now 80-40. If I have to find out principal plane, so first thing, principal plane is nothing but from this you turn clockwise and find out this angle. That was nothing but this angle. So that will be your location of principal stress, principal plane. At the same time, on that principal plane, how much your sigma and acting, it means you just add this extra distance also. Or if you know the radius here, you somehow by applying geometry you can easily find out your sigma. Sigma P1 means principal stress major, and this sigma P2 means principal stress minor. So this is how we can find out location and the value of principal stresses. Now see, in the same circle there is a point, there is a plane where your tau is tau max. So that you can clearly see, this is the point where your tau is tau max. After that you don't have circle, and below that you have all these lower values. At the same time, you also see you have certain point here. So sigma n is not 0 on the plane where tau is max. But if you review again the principal stress, the principal plane. Principal plane says that on the principal plane your tau theta will be 0. Okay, but the plane where tau is max, that time your sigma is not 0. It will give some finite value. It is very interesting to know. Okay, suppose if any Mohr circle is given, and suppose at this point you have any plane AB, and you want to know that what will be the value of normal stress and shear stress on any plane which is at this much distance from AB, this much angle from AB. So suppose if I am saying that this angle is 38 degree, it means what? In real block this angle will be half. Suppose this is AB point, so in real block this angle will be half, but half means how much? 19. But what is the direction? So from AB go clockwise. So from AB go clockwise. How much? Just 19 degree. So you will be getting a plane. So this angle will be 19 degree. Okay, so this is how we have to solve. So I hope Mohr circle you have understood little bit, and whatever you have doubt, first you ask your doubt.